Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be exploring something pretty fascinating today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at this guy, Bhagat Singh, you
Uh-huh.
know, revolutionary figure in India's fight for independence from the British.
Right.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
We're not focusing on his, revolutionary activities.
Okay.
We're going to be diving into his essay.
An essay.
Yeah, it's called Why I Am an Atheist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a bit about Bhagat Singh, but I'm not super familiar with his writings.
Well, get this.
Okay.
He wrote this powerful essay while he was in prison,
Wow.
imprisoned by the British and facing a possible death sentence.
That's,
Talk about a statement.
yeah, that's a bold move to solidify your stance on atheism when you're literally staring death in the face.
Right. I mean, to choose that moment, to really lay out your
Speaks
belief.
volumes about his conviction, for
Right,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So the big question we're going to be tackling today is what led this young revolutionary to embrace atheism in such a challenging context?
It's a good question.
And what's interesting is that
Yeah.
Singh didn't just become an atheist overnight.
Yay.
It was this journey,
Oh.
yeah, that started with his childhood curiosity about religion.
Oh, so he was, like, actively seeking from a young age.
Exactly. Not just accepting what he was told.
Right.
He was digging into religious texts, having these debates,
Oh, wow.
really wrestling with this fundamental question.
The big one, does God exist?
Exactly. And there's this amazing story
What is it?
where he challenges a religious scholar.
Oh, I bet it got heated.
Well, not in the way you might think.
Oh.
He challenges this scholar not by, getting angry or anything, but
Uh-oh.
by quoting scriptures. He knew the texts inside and out.
Wow, that's impressive. Shows a deep level of engagement.
Right. Like, he really took the time to understand these different viewpoints before forming his own.
So he wasn't dismissive.
Not at all. He was
Yeah.
grappling with complex ideas, weighing the arguments, and
And ultimately,
he started to see the flaws in those traditional arguments for God's existence.
like what?
Like the fear of death argument or the need for a creator.
Classic.
Yeah. And he systematically debunks them one by one.
Really?
Take the fear of death argument, for example.
Okay.
He basically argued that using fear to justify belief.
That's not true faith.
Right.
Well-
It's more like a crutch.
Interesting.
He wasn't finding comfort in blind faith,
Instead he was.
looking for answers in rational thought and the evidence he saw around him.
It's like a very evidence-based approach to belief.
Absolutely. And this approach is woven throughout his critique of organized religion.
Which, let's be honest, is pretty scathing.
Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah.
He saw so much hypocrisy and exploitation within these religious institutions,
Oh, yeah.
and it wasn't just a vague critique.
He got specific.
Oh, yeah. He used really specific examples, like this story about a wealthy man trying to atone for exploiting the poor. He's highlighting the irony of seeking forgiveness without addressing the root cause of the harm.
Oh, that's a good point. It's not enough to just apologize. You got to actually change your behavior.
Right. And he doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
He called out those who use religion as a crutch.
Like a way to avoid responsibility.
Exactly. He's like, hey, we have the power to shape our own lives.
That we don't need to wait for divine intervention.
Precisely. He championed this idea of self-reliance and courage.
So it's about empowering individuals.
Absolutely. He
Yeah.
basically said relying on religion for comfort was a sign of weakness.
Wow, that's a strong statement.
It really shows his unwavering belief in human strength and resilience.
It's like he's saying we have everything we need within ourselves to face life's challenges.
Totally. And this conviction becomes even more powerful when you think about his situation.
In prison.
Yeah. Facing a potential death sentence and choosing to stand by his principles.
He didn't back down.
Not at all. He even refused to pray for his release.
Can you imagine the strength that took?
It's incredible. To face death with your principles intact.
Choosing your own convictions over the comfort of traditional beliefs.
Exactly. And if you look at the bigger picture of Singh's life,
Okay.
his involvement in the independence movement, his socialist ideals,
Right.
it's clear that he was a man who was uncompromising in his beliefs.
A man of action.
Absolutely. He saw service to humanity and fighting for a better world as paramount, even if it meant personal sacrifice.
It's a pretty inspiring way to live.
And his writing reflects this deep commitment to social justice.
Oh, yeah.
There's this one line that just jumps out.
What is it?
He says, "Let us see if atheism can make a man a real lover of humanity."
Wow.
He saw atheism as this positive force, promoting reason and pushing for progress.
It's not just the absence of belief.
Right. It's about actively working towards a better world.
That's powerful. He's not just rejecting religion, he's proposing a different path.
Exactly. A path rooted in reason, action, and a deep commitment to humanity.
And that idea that atheism could actually lead to a stronger sense of social responsibility.
That's something people still debate today. It's like he's saying, look, if we only have this one life, let's make it count for something bigger than ourselves.
He was all about taking action, making a real difference.
And he was deeply influenced by Darwin.
Evolution.
Yeah. It all ties back to his belief in action and service.
Making the world a better place.
And get this, he was only 23 when he wrote this.
Really?
Yeah. It blows my mind to think about how deep his thinking was at such a young age.
Especially under such intense pressure, right?
Right. It makes you wonder what he could have accomplished with more time.
It's true.
His essay, Why I Am Atheist, is really this incredible testament to his intellect and his unwavering courage.
He didn't just believe in these ideas, he lived them.
Absolutely. So we've seen how Singh's early curiosity about religion transformed into this firm commitment to atheism.
Yeah.
Driven by logic, his social conscience, and incredible courage. It's a powerful story, and we're just getting started.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, stick with us as we continue to explore the depths of Bhagat Singh's remarkable essay.
I'm intrigued.
Good, because there's a lot more to uncover about this incredible guy and his ideas.
Well, I'm all here.
All right, let's dive back in. So we've talked about Singh's personal journey to atheism.
Right.
But let's kind of zoom out a bit.
Okay.
And look at the context of his time,
Right. India under British rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a really complicated relationship between religion and politics back then.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, religion was often used to kind of reinforce the existing social hierarchy.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally.
It was like a tool of control.
Right.
And that played right into the hands of the British Empire.
Exactly. They could use it to maintain their power.
Exact.
And then you have Singh,
Yeah.
this young revolutionary fighting for independence.
Right.
But he's also advocating for a socialist India.
A free and equitable society.
Yeah. So for him, atheism wasn't just this personal belief.
Right.
It was tied to his vision for a just and progressive society.
I see. He saw religion as almost like an obstacle.
Yeah. He felt like he was being used to keep people down,
To maintain the status quo.
Exactly. So it wasn't just about kicking out the British.
It was about dismantling these systems of oppression rooted in traditional beliefs.
Right. He saw religion as this distraction,
Ah.
taking the focus away from the real work of building a better world.
So instead of attributing everything to a supernatural entity,
Yeah.
we should be looking to science and reason.
Exactly. That's where true empowerment comes from.
It's about acknowledging our own potential to understand the world and shape it.
Right. Not just waiting for a miracle or divine intervention.
And this connects to his views on creation, too.
Oh, yeah.
He was influenced by Darwin's theory of evolution.
Right. That makes sense.
Which offered this scientific framework for understanding where life came from.
It challenged those traditional religious narratives that were so dominant at the time.
Instead of seeking answers in the heavens, he's encouraging people to look around.
To study the world around them.
Use their own observations and reason to figure things out.
It was radical thinking, for sure.
And it all goes back to that belief in human agency.
That we have the power to create a better future.
And that's where his emphasis on action and service comes in.
Right. It's not enough to just have these ideas. You have to act on them.
It's about making a real difference.
Exactly. He argued that our lives gain meaning when we dedicate ourselves to something bigger.
To serving others.
Working towards a common good.
Not just focusing on our own individual salvation.
Right. And he lived by that philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
He dedicated his life to fighting for Indian independence.
Putting himself at risk for a cause he believed in.
He was walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
That's powerful. Actions speak louder than words.
And it's especially striking when you think about his final moments.
Facing execution.
He didn't waver in his beliefs.
Wow, even then.
Yeah. His strength came from his commitment to his cause and his belief in human potential.
To face death without relying on the promises of an afterlife.
It's a powerful testament to finding meaning outside of religion.
Right. It makes you think about the nature of courage and meaning.
And it raises this interesting question.
What's that?
Can atheism actually lead to a stronger sense of social responsibility?
It's like he's saying, this is all we have, this one life, so let's make it count.
To make a real difference in the world.
Not just passively hoping for a better world, but actively working towards it.
He believed in collective action.
That together we can create a more just and equitable society.
But then it brings us to another question, right?
What's that?
How do we even define a better world?
That's a big one.
What are the values that should guide us? What role does religion play, or, the lack of it?
Right. It's about figuring out what truly matters.
And there were no easy answers.
But looking at Singh's life, I think there are valuable insights to be found.
Absolutely. His story shows the potential for a truly humanistic approach.
To creating a better world.
Right. And it makes us question our assumptions about the relationship between belief and action.
So in this part of our deep dive, we've seen how Singh's atheism wasn't just a personal thing.
It was a driving force behind his activism,
He saw it as a catalyst for social change.
a foundation for a more just world.
And this leads us to another thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
Can we find that same strength and commitment to justice outside of religious belief?
That's something to ponder as we move into the final part of our exploration of Bhagat Singh's essay. Okay, so we've explored Singh's journey,
His critique of religion.
his unwavering commitment to social justice.
Right.
But let's take a step back for a second
Okay.
and really appreciate the context in which he wrote this essay.
Yeah, Why I Am an Atheist.
Exactly.
Written from prison.
Right. He wasn't just, sitting in a comfy armchair.
Contemplating the universe.
Yeah. He was imprisoned, facing a possible death sentence.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
Right. Most people in that situation,
Would be clinging to any hope they could find,
praying for a miracle.
bargaining with a higher power.
But Singh, he uses this time to really solidify his atheism.
To lay out his beliefs so clearly and with such conviction.
It's incredible the strength it must have taken.
It's almost superhuman.
But here's what I find so fascinating.
Yeah.
In a way, his atheism was liberating.
Oh.
It allowed him to confront his own mortality head-on.
Without the comfort of an afterlife.
Right. Without those traditional beliefs.
He found a different kind of strength.
Absolutely. A different kind of peace.
He embraced the idea that this life is all we have.
And because of that,
It's our responsibility to make it meaningful.
it's like a total shift in perspective.
From fear and clinging to
Acceptance.
action.
Right. He flips the script on this idea that atheism is all doom and gloom.
He presents it as this call to action.
It's a source of responsibility.
Even joy.
It's about finding meaning in the here and now.
Not in some distant promise of a heavenly reward.
Exactly. And remember his criticism of those who use religion as a crutch.
Yeah.
It all ties into this.
It's about taking responsibility for your own life.
For the world around you.
Not waiting for someone. He believed that by embracing logic, by thinking critically,
Humanity could overcome superstition and build a better world.
he saw that direct link between clear thinking and positive action.
So it's not just about what you believe.
But how that belief translates into action.
He challenged people to not just think differently, but to live differently.
To let their actions be guided by reason and compassion.
And his life is such a powerful example of that.
Facing death with unwavering courage.
It's incredibly inspiring.
It really shows that we all have the power to make a difference,
To contribute to something bigger than ourselves.
regardless of our beliefs.
And it makes us question our own beliefs,
Are we living a life of purpose?
guided by reason and compassion.
Are we working towards a better future?
Or are we just hoping for someone else to fix it?
These are the questions that Singh's story forces us to confront.
That's what makes this deep dive into why I am an atheist so impactful.
It's not just about understanding Singh's beliefs
It's about reflecting on our own,
and how those beliefs shape our actions in the world.
and as we've seen,
Singh's atheism was more than just a personal belief system.
it fueled his fight for social justice and progress,
It pushed him to take action.
to work towards a better future for everyone.
It's a powerful legacy that we can all learn from.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into why I am an atheist,
It's been an amazing journey.
exploring the mind and legacy of Bhagat Singh.
A truly inspiring figure.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time.
Keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep making a difference.